This was kind of like the last, if I read correctly, Jeff, then I think they have OTAs next week, but he's only asking young guys and special teamers to be there for that. Is that correct?
Correct, or anybody else who wants to show up.
Right.
I believe Rome said he was going to. So so it'll be the young guys, and they're going to work on special teams. But so it's a good, nice break for the vets, the guys who put in a lot of work so far over the last 9 weeks or so. In the Get Acquainted session with Ben Johnson. I think we learned a lot.
Yeah.
I did.
You know what I loved? I loved this answer. We talked about it yesterday. He said it yesterday. There's a couple of different points in here that I really enjoyed, and you were just talking about Ben. This was the stuff on Caleb yesterday when he got to Caleb and he didn't like the way the pass to Roschon went. And as Adam Johns pointed out to us yesterday, like that could have gained 12 or 14 yards. But like Ben Johnson pointed out the obvious, I want to play that for everyone, and then I want you commenting. Here it is.
There was a teaching moment with Caleb at the end of that last 7-on-7 where he went to the flat for Roschon. What were you trying to? Was he supposed to go somewhere else with that? Did you see something?
No, he was late, so he needs to get there faster.
How is he responding in those sorts of moments?
Awesome. Yeah, he's doing a great job. He's very coachable, and it's like anything. It's a new play, and so we're just communicating what the expectations are, and we want to see it show up on the tape.
It made me happy, Jeff. Does that make you happy?
Yes. Again, this is what he's done since he got here. He's just speaking his mind. This is what he wants. He wants every detail. Again, dotting I's, crossing T's. Every detail matters. Every snap matters. Not letting anything go. Just like when he said, do you have another soundbite from today?
Yeah, I've got. Which one do you want me to play?
Well, about, okay. See you guys. Enjoy your little break here, but, right?
Was that you leading into me the bite?
Yes.
We
Jesus.
Which one is this, though? Tell me which bite you're looking for.
It is definitely off-season. You guys need a little work before we get to regular season.
I thought for sure this would be one of the first things you brought up. It's not a show up it's not a show up in shape, not a get in shape camp.
Oh.
Training camp.
Do we have that? Jack, we're told we don't have that one. So,
well, that's a good one for me. Those phrases, that sings with me. You got time. You got to keep working. You got to keep lifting. Guys are going to take little trips and stuff, but you can't just blow off everything. You better come in here in shape. It's not a get in shape camp.
Jeff, what have you learned about Ben Johnson and his staff that maybe has come as a surprise to you?
Nothing is a surprise other than the fact that they came from different influences and they're meshing like perfectly. Everybody. And I keep talking about that. That's what my main gist during this part of the process without pads on, and when you really then turn to the players to see what they really are and how they'll really be used in both sides, on offense and defense and special teams for that matter. But yeah, just how they've all hit the ground running and they are meshing perfect. Remember, these coaches had to learn stuff. They don't know Ben Johnson. J.T. Barrett does. Antoine Randall does. Eric Bieniemy didn't. All the other offensive coaches didn't. They had to learn what they were putting together. So there's a process. Eric Bieniemy sat in this very booth with me weeks ago saying, yeah, he had to do a lot of homework. So I like the way it's all coming together. I love the teaching. I love the correction. I love the intensity. I called Al Harris, the defensive back coach, stoic but stern. Okay? Today, showed a lot of emotion when a play was made by one of the defensive backs, backup defensive back, and they're celebrating every little thing that's done well and the way they asked it, while correcting the things that don't look so good. And Ben even said something today. What sound bites do you have? I'm not leading into the bomb.
Yeah, geez, throw us under the bus with that. I've got Ben Johnson on players who have jumped out at him. I've got Ben Johnson, offensive lineman catching passes, or Caleb's interception in practice.
If you want me to I can actually imitate him and kind of give the message you want me to give.
Now go with the surprises. Okay. Go with the guys he thinks that caught his attention. We'll do that.
Thank you for giving me a moment there. I didn't want to throw around names for no reason. Yeah, so I'd say defensively, the two guys I would tell you are Dom Robinson. He even without the pads on, he's done a great job of consistently speed rush up the field or countering back to the inside. He's done a really nice job there. And then, of course, he's got some special teams value that he takes a lot of pride in as well. And then I thought the player we probably saw the most improvement from when he stepped in to now was Ruben Hippolyte. I thought he's done a nice job learning. He's swimming a little bit, but he's taken it seriously, and Coach Richard Smith's done a fantastic job with him over the course of the last few weeks. On offense, I'd probably single out Joel Wilson. You saw him today with a big catch. He's kind of had one or two of those almost every OTA. And then in the running back room, Kyle Monangai has really stepped up I appreciate the attention to detail and the pride he takes and how quickly he's picking things up as well. So that's 4 good names for you right there.
Yeah, so that was asked by someone yesterday, and he said, hey, give me a day. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you going back and giving it some thought instead of just throwing names out there. And he said, I didn't want to just throw a bunch of names out there. A lot of times, no coach will get to that podium and say anything for fear they might upset somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He's just being real.
I love it. No, and I love that he said, there's nothing to hide about Caleb being late. Like, why hide that? Some other coaches would say, you know what? Well, miscommunication will work it out. He told you. And then he said, but he's open to coaching. He's been great. I want to ask you about the left tackle position, Jeff. There's very, very, very little that you could gauge without pads and without hitting. So let me ask you the question this way. Of the 3 guys who are competing, Braxton Jones being hurt, who do you think they want to win that job?
Oh, my gosh. I honestly would have no idea. I think you got to stay open-minded, and that's the first step of the process. Much like he just mentioned, to rattle off those names, these are fresh eyes on this talent. From different system a year ago to what they're trying to install, what they're trying to do here in 2025. So, you know, it's a very difficult question to answer because Braxton's not ready yet, and I don't know when he will officially be ready to start trying to earn that job. So that's a very difficult question. I can't answer.
Why? Because
I know you.
Yeah.
I think you've talked like, okay, if you get a second-round pick, you got a plan.
Yeah. Well, like that's what I was going to say to Waddle. Like, my wish is that you have just drafted your solution at left tackle in the second round.
And he proves to you early that he's worthy of being your starting left tackle.
Isn't that best case scenario?
For me, that would be best case scenario. Yes, that would be money well or draft pick invested correctly.
Well, you know, that's fine, but you know, I'm not going to sleep on anything here. And in fact, Tom and I had a chance to visit with Karan Amagaji the other day, one-on-one. And this is a guy who's changed his body, used this time to get a lot stronger. He's got a very serious approach to what is about to be unveiled here at training camp, which, again, we say is the number one story at training camp, is who wins that left tackle job. And it may be won early. I don't know. I mean, they want to hit the ground running and get things as the continuity there as soon as possible. But
Jeff, how's he moving? How's that? Like the one day I saw him out there, he looked like he was still kind of not as smooth as he would want to be. Is he moving good?
I think he's moving fine. I think that's a process too, yeah, because you know he's still learning and still trying to get through. You know, what was an injury that was not easy to get back from. You know, it just wasn't, and so. You know, he's had time. He's had time to get better and had time to get the teaching from the new offensive line coach, Dan Roshar, and time to get stronger. So I think it'll be a very interesting discussion over the course of the first initial days of camp, and especially when you start practicing against the Dolphins, you start practicing against the Bills, and then playing games. So hopefully it won't take too much longer than after that to decide on who is your left tackle.
Non-Bears question for you. Your thoughts on the news that Aaron Rodgers will, in fact, sign with the Steelers?
Well, I mean, everybody knew it, right? Unless he just pulled a surprise and was going to retire. But I think he thinks way too much of himself to just go away. And it probably entices him in some weird, demonic way that he's going to be at Soldier Field to take on the Bears again, and he's going to go through the division, and he'll host the Packers in Pittsburgh. So, yeah, I mean, It was nauseating, to be honest, just watching Twitter go off, and just now every single post is about Aaron Rodgers today. So, welcome back, I guess.
Yeah.
You're 41. We'll see what you got. He's got a heck of a coach to work with there, though.
I do think
both
it's
the offensive coordinator and the head coach. So.
I do think it's an interesting storyline. Like, I'm not rooting for him or
I'm
the
excited
Steelers,
for it.
but yeah, I mean,
Not for Rodgers,
Wait,
for the
did you-
Bears to play Rodgers.
yeah.
I want finally, Jeff. Like they knocked Brett Favre out of his career. Finally,
Somebody said how cool. Hey, Corey Wooten, are you available?
Yes, yes.
like, and I don't even think that the Rodgers-Tomlin relationship, is going to be something that is going to bubble over. I'm interested to see how Aaron Rodgers matches up with Arthur Smith in the offense and how they work together. Because Rodgers it doesn't feel like from this chair that Rodgers kind of fits what Arthur Smith's system is all about.
Yeah, and I like Arthur Smith, another no-nonsense coach.
Yeah.
He wants to run the ball a lot, right?
Right.
So
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be a good NFL story.
Would he really want to go someplace where he knew he would be? It'll be an edgy relationship with the OC. I mean,
No, I know. That's why I think it's going to be fascinating.
But again, this league delivers, doesn't it?
It does every time.
It's just every single time.
Okay, trivia question for you.
I'm not good at it.
This is off of the football topic as well. So altogether, we're off from the Bears, and now we're moving away from the NFL. Where were you 34 years ago today?
Hell, I don't know where I was last Wednesday.
I mean, I don't know. What are you asking me that for? I don't know.
34. Well, because it was a moment. You want me to play it for you, and then you can tell us where you were?
Was it a Bulls NBA Finals game?
Yes, it was.
Okay, that's all I got. Which one?
So were you courtside for the finals in '91?
I don't think I was courtside. No, I was not courtside.
But you were there in the building.
Absolutely. Because I was working for Illinois Radio Network at that time. I was doing a pre and post game show.
All right, so let me
for the network, for the radio network.
Let me play this for you, and you tell me what you remember about this. This is the golden voice of Marv Albert on back in the day NBC Bulls Lakers Game 2.
The look away to Livingston. Jordan. A spectacular move by Michael Jordan. That's 13 consecutive field goals. And a timeout has been called.
Looks like Michael Jordan's trying to find a way to miss his shot. Instead of taking the easy one, he tries to make it hard and still comes up. He's saying it to the fans, I love it.
It's an iconic moment of Michael switching hands,
Right,
Jeff.
the midair switch, yep. You know what? That just gave me goosebumps, honestly.
Yeah.
Just all of the sounds, whether it be Marv, the music in the background.
Yes.
The
roar.
It was magic. It was Magic Johnson getting his tail whipped that day. I just looked it up, 107.86. Great memory. That year was something else. And a little nugget about when they finally won it in 91. So this was the Bulls radio network. It was done out of a studio on Ontario Street, okay? But they let me travel. I went to home games, but road games was out of that studio. And it was me and a producer. That's it. And I talked them into sending me to the NBA Finals in L.A. So I get credentialed, the whole bit. It's just going to be me, and I asked the late Brian Wheeler, who was a huge Lakers fan, later the longtime and popular voice of the Portland Trail Blazers, just passed away this late last year. And, Brian, would you love – I can't pay you. I'm hardly getting paid, but can you help me out in case they win the final? I got to need somebody upstairs while I'm in the locker room covering Anyway, long story short, I get there, and Brian McIntyre was the NBA's media relations director. He was an awesome guy. I get to the game. I go, I have no seat. He goes, well, who are you? What are you doing here? I said, well, I'm a Bulls radio network. He goes, we have no seat for you. I mean, I'm getting all upset. He sends me to the last row of the LA Forum. The last row. And I did my pregame, postgame from there, and Brian Wheeler was upstairs directing the show. I don't know how we did it, but I remember that specifically, and I remember when they won the championship, crawling underneath the legs of the security detail for Jesse Jackson's crew because he said, make way for the Reverend. And Gian Greco and I were at the front of the line. Mark said, don't move. So I go underneath their legs, and James Jordan, because we didn't have wireless stuff back then, he was watching my area, and he was bringing me players to interview when they won the championship. How about that for a story?
Wow.
It's incredible. It's
That's old school.
Yeah, Jeff and I bet later on in the last 3 championships, we spent many hours together in the last row of buildings. The Delta Center, we would sit next to each other.
Oh, yeah.
I would go out into the concourse, Jeff, and I would call in a report to Waddle and Cap on GN from a payphone. A payphone.
I know. It's crazy stuff when you think about it. We had these big tape recorders. We're editing tape. Oh, my gosh.
Did you have that fedora that's had the press,
Yeah.
label on it? Did you have that too, Jeff?
I just missed that era,
Okay.
but not too far removed from the era where you took a real razor blade and a grease pencil and you're cutting up
Splicing.
tape. Splicing. So you know who my producer was? It was Ray Liotta's nephew, Tony Liotta.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Small
Tony
world.
Liotta. Yeah, it was just he and I. Great memories, man.
Yeah,
That's
great
a
man.
long
See,
time ago.
I knew you'd
Thank
like it.
you.
I didn't
Thank
have the
you.
Ben Johnson soundbite, but I had the Marv
Yes,
Albert
so,
soundbite, and that's
we're
what
working.
counts.
Yes. That was a nice rebound. We're all right.
That's right.
We're all good.
Can't make all the
listen,
shots,
man,
Jeff.
We haven't even hit training camp yet. Calm it down, Waddle. But how about this one? I read that. You guys
I'm
hear
ready
about
for
this?
you at any point.
Now you're just delaying your show. You know this.
No,
Are-
I can't. I can't
Okay.
delay my show. But
Okay,
you got to let me say this. You don't want to be this guy. The Kennedy ramp opening was delayed because a driver entered the work zone and damaged freshly poured concrete, pushing
stop.
back the reopening of the outbound Kennedy ramp to Ohio by about a week.
When was this?
Today.
Oh, no.
Pay attention, everybody.
Oh, that's
Pay
terrible.
attention. Bye, guys.
See ya.